Okay, there you go.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Megan Marsh here from Collab Lending and Mortgage Broker Fast Track. Mortgage Broker Fast Track is a course we announced a few weeks ago where it was created by my business partner and I after building multiple mortgage brokerages, and it was built to help any loan officers or other real estate professionals be able to get the information that you need to smoothly and quickly open and build a mortgage brokerage. And so each week, right around noon, we're a little late here today having tech difficulties, but each week we are hopping in, doing a quick live on just a different aspect of being a mortgage broker, uncovering, what the truth is as a mortgage broker, because I think that there's a lot of misinformation that's out there. I think that a lot of loan officers are told things that maybe isn't necessarily true about being a mortgage broker. And it then makes it hard to make a decision on if something would be good for you, for your business, if you should, take a chance, try something different. So today's live is all about, do mortgage brokers lose control of their loan files when you are a mortgage broker versus working at a lender? That could be a correspondent, that could be a retail lender. So we're just going to go through, there's a lot of areas. I'm just going to cover 3 or 4 of the questions and things that I've seen people believe or think or be worried about if you've worked under some type of lender format and you're looking at, should I become a mortgage broker? And just like previous weeks, I'm not going to say what's right for anyone. I think that there is space and room for, the different ways of lending. Personally, we love being a broker. We have been both. We love the broker side. And if you have heard mortgage brokers lose control of the loan process, I just want to tell you that one of our favorite reasons that we like being a broker is because we feel like we have more control. So I wanted to explain that and give you some of the areas that mortgage brokers have more control than when I was in the lender seat or the retail seat. So if somebody does tell you things, unless they are living and breathing and doing and working as an actual broker right now in 2022, then I would say, go looking for more information from people who are doing it. How business was done 5 years ago is different than how it's done today, even 2-3 years ago. So do mortgage brokers lose control? As a loan officer, would you lose control of your files? Would you not be able to make sure they close on time? And no, that is not true. We don't lose control of the process. I feel we have almost the same amount of control, if not more control. And here's why. It all starts with where, as a loan officer, when you're a mortgage broker, if you're an owner or if you're a loan officer, when you get a client, you then have the ability to go and pick what lender you are going to place a loan at. And we didn't have that option when we were a lender. It was the lender either did that loan or they didn't. As a broker, you can go look between multiple banks to see, is there someone who does this loan type, which your chances are going to be higher that you have the ability to have a lender who does the things that maybe a single lender doesn't do. And then it's your choice where you lock that loan and who you want to work with. So in the wholesale lending space, banks have account reps. And the account reps are the ones that are trying to earn our business. So kind of like if you were in the business and we could order our appraisals and we could select who we wanted to use for to get the appraisal done, we had control over, we liked how quick that appraiser was, or we liked how much they charged, or, we liked that they helped to answer questions for us, which we don't have anymore. We've kind of lost control. And we're following these new rules for appraisals. In the broker world, you have that same type of control with where you place your loan. You could place one there because you really like the account rep that bank has. Some account executives are phenomenal. They'll answer questions. They call you back that day. They're kind of like your middle person who will find out and get answers for you or show you how to do something. So that could be a reason. You could pick a bank because certain wholesale lenders are really fast and will close loans in, 10, 15 days, whereas there are some that, are going to take more than 30 days. So, the selection of who you get to put your loan with is a form of control in our eyes. And it's something we've always liked. Number 2 is underwriting. Okay. So once a file goes to that lender, is it gone now and you don't know what happens until you're cleared to close? No, that's not the case. So as a loan officer that works at a brokerage, you're going to have a processor, or if you self-process, you are going to send your loan to that bank you locked the loan with, and it will get assigned an underwriter. A lot of times there's also a junior underwriter. And there's, you have people at each of the banks who communicate with you. And what happens is once they underwrite the file, then you get your conditional approval, and it says right on there, this is the underwriter, this is their phone number, this is their email address. And we don't work with banks unless we have the ability to talk to the underwriters, because you'll get a list of conditions, you want to work through them, you call that underwriter or the junior or your account executive. There is a way to get things resolved, and there are people to talk to. Some of the banks that are more automated, it can be a little more difficult, but for the most part, like, the wholesale lenders are trying to earn our business. And part of that is communicating with us and working with us on getting a file approved and then conditions cleared, getting the CD out. You can send CDs out before you are cleared to close. There are all these ways that the wholesale lending world has adjusted to today's regulations that makes it very doable and easy to close loans quickly, and to do difficult loans if you choose to do non-QM. And so for those reasons, you do not lose control of the loan process. It's more about, as a broker, tweaking your process to find what's right for you, because you will be working with multiple lenders. And that is the hardest part about being a broker, is there are, all the banks follow the same general process, but they're all a little bit different. And so underwriting, I remember a guy who came over from a correspondent, and that was one of his big concerns, was getting the CD out, because they could do that as a lender. I said, we can do it too. We just send in the CD request form, and we can get our CDs sent out a couple weeks before the closing date. So you can do the same things as a broker, and you find the banks that you like to work with the best. TBDs is another thing I've heard. People are told you can't do TBDs as a broker, and that's not true either. The wholesale lenders, some do them, some don't. Most wholesale lenders have review desks. It's like an underwriting desk where they'll review questions, income, a guideline for you, and they'll help you figure out when you're pre-approving someone, or if you're not sure and you want to be sure, you can send a TBD to a number of the wholesale lenders that are out there. Options is number 3. The amount of options you have as a broker, it can be overwhelming. And so we typically recommend people start with 3 to 5 lenders and then expand. But we, as a broker, you have the ability to say, okay, I don't have this product, but I have a client who's buying $1 million home and I'd like to do this loan. I'm going to go sign up with this lender. And so to me, that is full control versus having to say no, having to send it elsewhere, having to refer it somewhere else. So having options. I have seen, though, here's one confusing thing. If you've only been retail, if you've only worked as a lender versus a broker. So most lenders have an option to broker a loan. It is not the same as brokering a loan as a mortgage broker. You send it to that, broker division. The forms are different. The process is different. I almost felt like I lost control when I was a lender and I was brokering something. It is a much more cohesive process when you broker loans, because, you are coming up with your own systems to follow your loans, and you have a processor who's following up with the different underwriters. So the options that you have to place loans is just enormous. And I found that it grew our business 20 to 30%. And we've heard that over and over again from other people who have come from retail and gone into the mortgage broker space. The last one I'm going to touch on, which is only covering a little bit here on do we lose control, but who owns the client after it closes? So, if you work for a lender, you are lending your own money, you're closing in your name, and then you're selling it afterwards. The only difference as a broker is the loan closes and funds on the day of closing, and then that wholesale lender could sell your loan or they could service it. So unless you work with a lender, if you work somewhere where they're servicing all their loans, right, that would give you a little more control after. But there's something in the broker world, there are hundreds of wholesale lenders. And so who you choose to work with will affect this piece. There was a whole movement that started where as a broker, there are wholesale lenders who then your client's information's out there and is up for grabs. If you don't want that to happen, you choose to work with lenders who do not solicit your customers and who actually help you retain them by doing things afterwards. We have lenders who send videos congratulating clients with us on there and them on there. We have lenders who service their loans. So it's like picking those things. And I think one of the biggest things for me was, being a broker for a long time back in 2008 when banks shut down, you'd come into the office and one or two banks would close, kind of like what's happening now. It made me feel so safe as a broker because if you worked at one of those lenders that shut down, which none of us as loan officers would know until it's happening. They're not going to tell you weeks ahead. But as a broker, if one of the banks I was working with closed, we would take that file and we'd put it at a different lender. We could solve the problem versus having to find a whole new company if you work for that lender. And so for me, that is a form of control and having the ability to place loans during difficult times like right now, and choosing who we work with, choosing the banks that don't solicit our customers or sell to places that solicit them. You have that choice. That is in your control. So I hope that helped you see some of the things. I'm going to do the same topic next week, but I'm actually going to bring up some screen shares to show you and give you some support behind the things that I'm telling you. And I'm going to bring up a few other ones about control because I think this is an area that scares some loan officers. And I want to make sure that you know that you really don't lose control, you gain control. And so, if you liked this last week's live, we're going to keep doing these each Wednesday right around noon. We will hopefully not have our tech difficulty. We'll be on here. We will be going over the control of the loan file again. And then the following week, we'll be doing what is the cost of becoming a mortgage broker. And then in just a short period of time here, at the end of the month, we are going to be having a free webinar where we are going to really dig in. It's just going to be a 45-minute webinar where we show you different things that we've been covering here, but in more detail, so that if you have considered or want to think about becoming a mortgage broker, you have an option, you have something that will guide you, teach you, give you checklists. You can see how things are set up. And so if you want to learn more, we will put in the comment. You can head over to, it's thecollablife.com/sneak peek. And it'll put you on the list and we'll notify you of the schedule for that webinar. We're going to have 2 in the next 10 days that you can join, so that if you aren't sure yet about being a broker, it'll help you kind of see it, taste it, touch it, like get a better feel of what being a broker is all about. Otherwise, we'll be back here going live about becoming a broker, opening a mortgage brokerage next Wednesday at noon, and we hope to see you there. Bye, guys.